Welcome back, everybody. This is the thejonnymar, and I am continuing with Final Fantasy II for the PSP. So last time we finished up the Semite Caves, we picked up the Mithril, and now we are going to head back to Salamand to check in with Joseph, because we actually also saved all of the villagers of Salamand, as well as Joseph's daughter named Nellie. So there's our Mithril that we picked up. Ultimately, we do want to take that all the way back to Altair and give it to Hilda. Now, I did have quite a time in the Semite Caves last time, so I do want to make sure I'm healed up. And when we do get back to Salamand, I'm also going to want to stop at the inn. Now, going to Salamand is entirely optional. You do not have to go there. You can head all the way back to Altair immediately. But I do like to check in with Joseph because we did do a little favor for him. And, you know, as a hero does, a hero checks in and wants to know if he can get a reward. And there's also a magic spell I want to pick up in Salamand. And that is the life spell. Now, there are some other spells here as well. There's Sap, which of course is like Rasp in other Final Fantasy games. And then there's the Warp and Teleport spell. But since we got the teleport spell out of a chest in Semite Caves, we do not need to buy it. But I do want to purchase the life spell and start working on that. Now, life spell doesn't work great in this game. Basically, it has a really high probability of bringing a party member back to life if they're knocked out. But it doesn't restore a lot of health, and you really have to get it up to high levels to make it restore any decent amount of health. We did. Do you have anything for us? Or not? Borgin. That's a name I think we've heard before. Keep it in mind. And Mithril? Yeah, we know that. We already picked it up. From the mines. So we're going to be working on life. As I head back to Altair, I will continue to level all of Maria's elemental magic. And I'm also going to be working on Ephirian's white magic. So I'm going to be using Insunia or Isunia and also life. So I'm going to head back to Altair and I will meet you all back there once we arrive, and we will give the Mithril over to the rebels. So this is the path I will be taking. Of course, Altair is not down here. That is later in the game. It is actually in this general vicinity. So I will see you in a little bit. Alright, so we are in Altair. As I said, on the trip down here, I was leveling my magic. I almost got life to level 2. I got Isunia to level 3, and the elemental magic I got up to mostly level 3 as well. So Gordon doesn't really have much else to say. We haven't really done anything yet that will change kind of his disposition. And our items don't really change kind of the way he's thinking either. So let's take our Mithril to Hilda and see what she has to say. Because obviously she was the one who first said that basically the rebellion that we are a part of needs the Mithril to stand a chance against the Empire. So choose your item menu and select the Mithril. I'm not sure if it's going to be equal terms. I think they have much more people than we do. But she instructs us to take the Mithril to Tobul, or Tabul, however you want to pronounce it, the blacksmith. And we should check in on the king as well. He doesn't really say anything different from when we talked to him last. And the Mithril doesn't change that either. Now the king will have new stuff to say in the very near future, so we will head back to him once we finish up our next little side quest that we have to do. Or not really a side quest, that's part of the main storyline. So we need to approach Tabul here, this old man. He's just an old man until we give him the mithril. Then he's like, hey, yeah, that's awesome. I haven't had a chance to work with mithril before. And so he's going to get to work basically right away on making some mithril stuff for us. And what's interesting about this is not only is the mithril items going to be available for sale here in Altair, but there's actually going to be other stuff available in other cities as well. So basically all of the cities that are somewhat affiliated with the rebellion, they will have certain mithril items that you can purchase. So we have the normal shopkeepers. They will always have the regular items of the different towns. And then we have kind of this other keeper that has a little apron on, and he will sell the mithril stuff. So luckily we have lots of Jill to purchase these new items. We want new weapons, of course, for all of our party members. And we're going to hold off on the armor for now. We will, of course, be improving our evasion via some shields. So we're going to equip all of our new mithril weapons. As you notice, they significantly increase our attack power. And they actually will make us competitive against the knights that are in Finn if you want to do some kind of over-leveling or grinding at this point in the game. I'm not going to be doing that, but it's certainly an option. So just like the weapon shop, the armor shop also has new mithril stuff, and I am going to basically not get any of the more advanced mithril stuff. Our silver cuirass is actually just as good as the mithril armor, for the most part. And so we're just going to buy mithril shields. So the question is, how much do they improve our evasion? Currently, Furion is at 37 evasion. That's pretty good. And with the mithril shield on, that stat goes up to 42, so it increases it by 5%. He's almost at a 50-50 shot for evading a physical attack. Pretty good. And then we'll, of course, sell off all of our old stuff. So now we did that, right? The question is, what do we do now? What's next in the storyline? When you have doubts about what to do next, of course, you should head back to Hilda and talk to her. And perhaps she will give us a clue about what we need to do next. Suddenly, we have mention of the Dark Knight. So this is a character that is watching over the construction of the Dreadnought, which is a advanced airship that the Empire is using, or basically building their equivalent of the Death Star to sort of take out the rebellion. And she wants us to head to Bafsk, which is where the construction is taking part. So we've been to Bafsk. There's not much going on there, but maybe now we can find something different going on. So I'm going to head all the way over there. I'm not going to show you the route that I take, of course. Well, I mean, I'll show you the route, but I'm not going to show you all the random encounters. But I will meet you over there when I get there. So I will see you again in a little bit. So we are in Bafsk. We find out we need a pass in order to get on the Dreadnought. Apparently it's an amusement park. I wonder how many tickets it takes to get that pass. And you'll notice that all of the citizens are now talking. And the Imperials are actually very concerned because they're being worked very hard by this man, Borgin, and also the Dark Knight that we heard about. So Borgin, of course, is a name we've heard before from Joseph and also from some soldiers, I think, who said that he basically turned. He was a double agent for the Empire. He originally was with the rebellion. And he basically turned over to the Empire for power, I guess. But the rest of the people in town don't have much to tell us, except this particular Imperial soldier down here in the corner. He's got quite a bit to tell us, actually. He tells us that things are actually a little bit easier under Borgin. They're not being worked quite as hard as when the Dark Knight was here. And yes, we did. We could turn you in to your superiors. But we're not going to, because you are actually a rebel in disguise. So using our special rebellion password, we find that out. but he still stands in our way. So what we need to do, of course, is ask about the dreadnought, because we need to find a way to get to it. So he lets us know that there's actually a sewer route that we can take to get to the dreadnought. And he's gonna get out of the way. Run away, basically. He's like, I'm out of here. This is too suspicious for me. So here we go. Little espionage action as we head through the sewers or the caves of Bafsk. Most of the enemies in this area are basically exactly the same as we've been facing. And so there's not much new that you have to worry about here. There are a few new enemies, and if we do happen to encounter them, I will show them off. But this cave is pretty straightforward. And here's one of the new enemies, zombies. So zombies, of course, are undead, which means you can hurt them with all of your healing magic. Life and Phoenix Downs will be instant kills. Cure will actually harm them. And of course, fire is also super effective against them. You notice you can multi-target life, which is of course pretty awesome. You can bring back your whole party. But the zombies offer very little resistance. We are very powerful with our mithril stuff. But these caves are pretty straightforward. The sewers are not overly complicated. There's actually only 2 levels that we have to go through. Second area, we're going to head to the right and then up to the north. Most of the paths are dead ends, so I will show you the most efficient route that you can take in order to get through this area. And once we get to the end, we're going to have a little meeting with this guy, who turns out to be the Dark Knight that supposedly has disappeared. And that's because he has come down to the sewers and he's been working on the dreadnought. And no, we're not going to kneel before the Emperor. Come on, take us on. I'm sure you won't slaughter us mercilessly. Ah, you're going to run away, huh? How did you get down here? Stupid Borgin. And Borgin has a little laugh that is not quite up to the standards of Kefka's laugh from Final Fantasy VI, as we get a pretty cool cutscene here, which is exclusive to the Dawn of Souls version, of course. As the dreadnought takes off. But Borgin does have a little laugh clip. Kind of silly, but I don't know, kind of cool. And there it goes. Where is it going? Well, it is going to bomb the crap out of all of the rebel towns. Now, we still need to find a way to destroy the dreadnought. Now that it is operational, that is a much bigger risk to the rebellion. And for some reason, they just leave the pass that we need to get on the dreadnought here in this cavern as dust falls. And we can use this teleporter to get out of Bafsk. So, now we need to head back all the way to Altair. I'm going to be stopping in some of the towns on the way there. You'll notice this one is yellow, but we're actually going to go to the pink one that's right near Bafsk, because we want to talk to Cid. He is very important to chat with. Although we're ultimately going to Altair, first we want to stop in Paft. You'll notice that there are scorch marks on the ground. So Cid seems basically the same until we ask him about the dreadnought. And he suggests that we want to blow up the engine. But the question is, how do we do that, right? So ask him about the airship again, and we get a new keyword, the Sunfire. So Sunfire is the power source of airships, and it is very volatile. So what we need to do is find a way to sort of cause the Sunfire to explode. Yeah, and a lot of people were killed during the dreadnought attacks. That's what you'll notice about all of the different towns. Lots of scorch marks, and people are not walking around as much. But to Altair! We are back in Altair. Before we head into the town and talk to Hilda, I am going to unequip Minwu, and that is because Minwu is going to be leaving our party very soon. There's going to be a little change in the storyline coming up, and so he will be leaving us. So make sure if you want his equipment that you do unequip him. Otherwise, of course, he'll take it with him, and we are not going to see Minwu again. At least not during the main storyline. Uh-oh. So the king's condition has gotten worse. I wonder if there's anything that Minwu could do for him. That's what I just said, Maria. And basically he's like, well, we all die. But, you know, as a white wizard, kind of like hospice care, when someone is terminal, you do want to try to make it as comfortable for them as possible. So he has decided to take his leave of us and see if he can do anything to make the king feel a little bit better. Maybe not experience so much pain from whatever it is that's killing him. And ultimately, it still lies on us to destroy the dreadnought. So we lose a pretty powerful party member. And in the few seconds since Minwu left our party, Hilda's father's condition, the king's condition, has gotten better. So we find out that the Sunfire, which we need in order to destroy the dreadnought, is part of the Kashuan Empire, or kingdom, whatever. And that Scott and Gordon, of course, are the princes of that kingdom. Now, Scott, we know, was defeated. He is no longer around. We met up with him and got his ring a few episodes ago. And Gordon supposedly has mysteriously disappeared. Probably ran away. You know, because he's a coward. Now, Hilda suggests that we head to Kashuan Keep with Sid's airship. The problem is, you need a special item in order to access the Sunfire. We can't just hold it in our hands. But we don't know what that item is. And so to find out what the item is, what we need to do is basically continue to talk. And this is where it's important to come and talk to the king. Now, if Gordon was still around, we could just talk to him, and he could actually open the gates to Kashuan Keep. The problem is, Gordon is not around, and so we need to get the Goddess Bell. This is a special item that will allow us to open up Kashuan Keep. However, the whereabouts of the bell are only known to people that are part of the Kashuan family, and Gordon is not around. So maybe Hilda knows something, right? Yes, that's what I said. Huh, the Snow Plains. So that is north of Salamand. And yes, we're going to go after it. We have to stop the dreadnought. Yes, if Gordon wasn't a coward, we wouldn't have to risk our lives. But in order to brave the snow cavern and the ice fields, we're going to have to talk to Joseph. So that means we have to head all the way back to Salamand. So that is our next place that we have to head to. Much more backtracking, and we will be doing that in the next episode. So as always, viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As you can see, Gordon is gone. And I'll see y'all next time when we head to Salamand and into the ice cavern of the northern snow plains as we look for the Goddess Bell so that we can open up the Kashuan Keep and get the Sunfire. See y'all next time. So long.